And all I need to do is find out from you guys what the audio and visual is like. If that's good, then we're good to go. Right, let me see. Looks like we're just getting catch up with the desktop. Yeah, it's all good. Wicked. Let me just mute that because that's just going to drive me nuts. Right, let me see. Can you hear me? Can you see me okay? That's the most important thing. I'm literally stuck until I get that confirmation from you lovely people. Let me see what's going on here. I don't. Oh, right. Comms and visuals good. Run to the woods. Thank you, mate. Someone switched on there. Spot on. Right. Okay, then. Just a little shout out to everyone who's watching the replay right now. Thanks so much for taking your time, because this is going to be a long live stream, okay? About an hour and a half is what I usually do. So I really do appreciate your time to come along and to watch this. If you really want to get some information which has been shared on here as well, watch it with the chat as well, because a lot of the guys watching live right now do an excellent job in putting messages and comments and stuff like that in the chat. Okay, so my goal is to get as many people as possible on board with as much information at the same time. Okay, so that's what I want to do. I just want to share everything. I'll be getting lots of emails, lots of messages on Signal, on Telegram, on Instagram, and on my phone as well, with emails and text. So it's been a bit full on. Okay, there's been a lot going on. So the audio and visual is good. Thank you very much indeed. If I could say, could you give this a thumbs up? If you're subscribed, can you check the notification bell? Make sure it's ticked on ding ding, if you know what I mean. If you're not subscribed and you like what you see, it really would help if you subscribe and you click that notification bell. You must make sure that that's on, because every time I do a live stream, there'll be notifications going out, usually 24 hours before, and I usually do a reminder update about an hour or so before too, so you won't miss anything, okay? It's always good when it's live, but hey, we appreciate it when you guys watch on the replay, so thanks very much indeed for that. So we're going to go through the chats real quick, because you know what happens. Who's first? Paul T. I love you. The first person to comment always gets an I love you. So just quickly, let me see. Wicked. Polar Red, Stuart Lennon, Teddy's Knives. Hi, dude. Robert Von Darth. Run to the Woods. Hi, dude. The Plasterer. Stay Mental Survival. Lee Patrick. Prometheus Pockets. Hi, mates. A few regulars, which is always good to see. We're getting a real community in here, because there's a lot of regular people that tune in, which is always really good. I've gone right to the top of the chat now, so I'm just saying hi to the guys who made it here first, and I do believe they was actually commented before we went live, so hey, kudos to you guys. Thanks for the support there. M90 Dude, Jay Hay, Fenland Survivor, The Walking Joneses, Deep in the Bunker, Lee Patrick, same. Fiona M. Wow, this is awesome. It's the same people. This is brilliant to see. Welcome back, you guys, by the way. It's been a long week, hasn't it? Tell me about it. Just Think. Nice one. John O.D. Let me see. Stinkers Bridge. That's a new one on me. Don't remember that one. Lee Patrick. Reality Check. Born Outside. First moderator. Thanks ever so much for coming along, my friend. Yeah, we're trying to keep this a nice, friendly, respectful chat, okay? There are going to be differences of opinions, so if you approach anything that you disagree with, try and be an adult, okay? Because if you act like a children or a child, remember what kids are like in the school playground. You're adults now. You're just going to embarrass yourself and everyone else, because once this chat gets uploaded, it stays there, and everyone can see how much of a silly sausage you really were, okay? So, well, I don't know why YouTube does this. I was reading the top 20 people to come on, and it's just decided to all by itself to go right to the bottom. So I've missed about 100 people. We got 149 people in the chat. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining on. That's really cool. Metallic Reality, awesome. Thank you very much for coming along. We got two really cool moderators in here, and trust me, they don't take no nonsense. So if anyone's going to start waffling on about deep conspiracy stuff and agendas and things like that, we're going to try and avoid that sort of thing. Okay. So let me see. It looks like yeah, very, very healthy live stream. So survival management group. Hey, hope you're going to the meet, son. It's going to be a good one this year. Now, if the weather's bad, it's your fault. I'm holding you responsible, son. All right. Cool beans. Darren Sadler. Darren Sadler was one of the guys who come along to one of the bug out courses. Done very, very well with his son. So, yeah, boy. Anyone wants to know how good the courses were, see Darren Sadler, and Run to the Woods as well. He was on one of the courses too. Okay. So there's a lot of interest in the courses that we do here at the bug out. So without further ado, let's get on with it, shall we? Now, I don't know if some of you guys saw some of... Hold on, let me just check. I've got to make sure that this is all on. All right. Yeah, it's just confirming that the live chat is on. Sweet. Cool. So, yeah, let me just adjust that. Sorry about that, chaps. Yeah, what I wanted to do was to create an email address, put the email out there to you guys on here and on Instagram too. Anyone that's got any information that you believe is going to be relevant for me to share to everyone else. I did plan on doing a live stream like I always do, but because this was more focused, as it were, without chat interactions and stuff like that, lots of people want information without all of the bells and whistles, etc. So I did plan on doing a live stream once a week, every Friday, which is going to stay. Okay, now I've got the internet, no excuses, all good. To do another video during the week with like all of the emails I get over the course of that week, boom, read out, shared, very, very quick opinions and discussions on that, end the video. Okay, just like a weekly Intel update video. But because it's in its infancy, I've just started it. What I've decided to do is the first week's worth of emails, which I've got since the last live stream until now, so exactly 7 days. I'm going to be reading out the emails on here. So before I do that, I did get a few messages. One of the emails mentioned that the price of raw dog meat, sustainable raw dog meat, if you understand what that is, had just been going up in price. So I thought, okay, I'll check this out myself, because there's someone that I know that lives out here in Wales, is in the security industry, is a dog handler, a seriously good one as well, and I believe he trains other security guys dog handling. Now, he's confirmed that the price of raw dog food has just gone up between 10 and 20%. All right. So if anyone else is noticing anything like that, if you've got like dogs, probably, okay, what are you paying for your raw dog food for your dogs? Have you noticed any price increases within the last, say, 2 or 3 months? All right. I would probably guess go back to when the Ukraine thing happened. Okay, so that's a good like data point to start from there, up to date. Lots of things have happened since then, especially the stock market, if you've been keeping an eye on that like I have. Also, Steve, the security guy, said he was spending £100 to fill up his transit van. Now he's spending £170. That's bonkers. Now, I think we can all agree that most people here in the UK are getting kicked in the nuts when it comes to fuel, petrol and diesel. Okay, seriously bad news. It just seems to be just going up, and I can't see it letting down. Now, what I believe they're going to be trying to do is to slowly keep it pushing up, and to get it to just under £2, so it'll be 199.9, and it'd be like that for a while. They'll put it up to £2.2 for a day, drop it down to 199 for another week, and then the next week it'll be £2.1. Next week it'll be £2.4, and then back to £2.1. Can you see they'll gradually go up and then back a bit, then up a bit more, and that's what they've been doing. If you can remember, if you cast your minds back to when the issue first started, what was I think we was using petrol back then, and it was under £1 a litre, and it doesn't seem like that long ago, a few years ago. So it's practically doubled. 100% increase, rise. So if anyone's not feeling that, you don't really live in a real world, but eventually it will get to you and it's going to make a big impact, okay? So before I just get on to the emails, just a few things that I checked before I went live. Interesting, some of the movers and shakers in the stock market. Now, crude oil and natural gas plummeted 7%, give or take, roughly in one day. That's pretty bonkers, okay? So you're going to see big changes in the stock market around energy prices, all right? So they're going to keep this bubbling along, and like we know, we've been told that the energy prices are going to jump from October, okay? So my advice is do what you can to get alternative fuels, off-grid fuels, to heat your home and to cook your food, etc. Okay, if you rely on gas and central heating and electricity, you really need to start thinking about how are you going to carry on living without using that. All right, that's a serious request. Also, if any of you guys are mad enough to dabble in the crypto market, I never did. Okay, I believe in having physical stuff that's real. Crypto is just nothing. It's just thin air, imagination stuff, and it's just bonkers how it works. Bitcoin. Now, if any of you guys were into Bitcoin, wow, bit of a shock, eh? Now that went up to a high of 60,000 for one Bitcoin. Does anyone know what it is now? 20,000 and a half. So yeah, that's just gone, as in lots of the crypto stuff, Ethereum, Litecoin, loads of it has just gone dropped. Okay, so looking at the trends of where this could be going, we had in 2020 deflation, and of course it's led into inflation, which is what we're seeing now. When that starts to level out and peak, we're going to be entering a thing that they're now calling stagflation. Now, a lot of people are talking about stagflation is going to commence probably the middle to the end of next year. And from then, there is a lot of predictions talking about the precious metals market actually going. Okay, so if you've done well recently and you managed to get physical silver for, what's it, 21 per 1 ounce coin, if you've got loads of it at that price, congratulations and well done. If you keep hold of that, there is some speculation that it could go, maybe not triple figures, but go right up into, say, 80 or 90 per ounce. So you can, what a massive return that's going to be. Okay, so there is a lot of talk about that going on right now in private chat rooms and members forums, etc., which every now and again I like to keep an eye on just to get a feel of what's going on. So if you haven't done so already, please could you just pop out of the chat and just give it some of this. Hit the thumbs up button, because what that enables to do is once this live stream gets uploaded and people watch it on the replay, more and more people were going to see that, and they're going to be seeing exactly what you're typing in, because I encourage people, like I said, to read through the chat and to learn and get a lot of information from what you guys are sharing on here. Okay, so if you hit the thumbs up right now, it makes it happen. Okay, everyone gets to see what you've been typing in. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go through some of the emails that I received. Okay, some of them are quite in depth. So what I encourage you to do, if you do want to send an email, okay, I can't type it up on the screen, but it's called funkyintel@outlook.com. What I'll try and do, if I can manage it on here, let me see if I can do something about it on here. Let me see. I'll just type it into the chat right now. Okay. Oh, this damn keyboard, I need to get this fixed. Right. Right, there it is. It just popped up into the chat. That is the email address that you're going to need if you want to email me anything. Oh my God, I've just seen it come up on the screen with a crown. That's a bit strange, isn't it? It's a bit pretentious. Right. So yeah, that's the email address. Okay. So if there's anything that you think is important to share on videos like this, whack me an email. Try and keep it short. Okay. Don't make it really, really long and a bit like off topic. We're mainly focusing on what's happening where you are and what you're actually witnessing, okay? I don't want loads of links to news reports to what's going on around the world. We want to know what you're seeing and what you're hearing, okay? So where you are. So the email will be to me, so I live in so-and-so, you haven't got to be exact, but close enough. I live in so-and-so, I noticed that the fuel prices are this. I noticed that this particular item is missing in the supermarket. It's been like that for 1 day, 2 days, a week, whatever it is. All of that information really, really helps. Speaking of things like that, very, very strange things happened on my way home from work. I popped into Co-op just to get some milk, etc. Now, there was a big shortage of semi-skim milk that they actually run out. There wasn't much milk at all. Lots of the fresh fruit and vegetables were practically gone. There was an entire wall at the back of this Co-op store full up with fridges and freezers. All of them were empty and it was turned off. Now, the strange thing is, if any of you guys watch a good friend of mine, David. Now, David has a channel in America and it's called Adapt 2030. He done a video very recently saying exactly the same thing. He was in a supermarket and he saw a whole aisle of fridges and freezers. I think they were freezers, were all switched off. Apparently they malfunctioned. So they was in a race against time to get all of the frozen food out of those freezers and get them into the deep freeze at the back. Now, because it caught everyone off guard, there was a lot to organise. Some of the foods actually started to thaw out, and you know yourself, a lot of you, that if you get something out of the freezer that's frozen solid and you let it defrost and it melts a bit, if you refreeze it, it could be all sorts of problems, okay? So that's what happened, and a lot of it had to get thrown away. So the weird thing is, I witnessed that in Co-op. Now, some of you might say, yeah, Co-op's freezers are always breaking. Yeah, maybe they are. But this has happened in Morrison's, in Tesco's, in Co-op, One Stop. Someone said there was a bank out in Aldi too. So that's 5 different supermarket type places, all had the same issues in the last 3 days. Now, can you tell me in the chat if any of you personally have experienced the same thing? Doesn't matter what shop it is. If anyone's seen like banks of freezers or fridges that are just turned off, empty. If you have, whack it in the chat, that'd be good, because like I said, to have like 5 different places in 3 days, all of them at the same time at different parts of Wales. Now, there's something not right there. Someone says it might be the hot weather, but we've only had hot weather from today. This was like all of this week. Okay, so I don't think it's the hot weather doing that. So yeah, strange. Yeah, someone else is on Co-op as well. Sainsbury's. There you go, Sainsbury's. There's another one. So there's 6 different places already. So yeah, very, very odd. All of that sort of thing. And also, my friend Carl is probably in the chat. We spoke earlier today, and he saw the same thing. And he's noticed where he is that there's a massive shortfall, practically loss in fresh food. So you're all talking about things like fruit, vegetables, salad, that sort of stuff. And also another thing which Carl pointed out, and it's really, really important, because I was thinking about this last week and I forgot to mention it on a live stream. Have any of you guys noticed when you go into supermarkets in particular, anything meat related that's in the fridge, not in the freezers, but in the fridge? Have you noticed recently, and when I say recently, within the last 6 months, maybe a year, that the dates that you have to use it by has got a lot shorter? I've been seeing it for quite a while, and in fairness, it's probably since the issue started. So what's that, 2 years ago now? So yeah, has anyone been noticing? I remember the days when you can go into a supermarket, any supermarket on a weekend, Saturday, Sunday, whatever it is, and just say you wanted to get like 500 grams of 5% steak mince is what I get for the family. Usually you got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 days to use that. And, you know, that lasts the whole week and we can use it any day that we want. It's never a problem. But what I'm noticing now, most of the time, the majority of the time, stuff like steak mince, pork chops, pork loins, chicken breast, that sort of thing, you've usually got about 2 days to use it by. If you don't use it, you're going to have to freeze it. Or if you're lucky, you can freeze dry it. So has anyone else noticed the same thing about the shelf life, etc., or the use by with meats? I certainly have. And it'd be interesting for any of you guys, if you've seen the same sort of thing, if you can whack that in the chat, that'd be seriously good. I would love to read all of the chat, but to be honest, there's 233 people in there right now. We've been going 20 minutes. So well done, everyone. It's impossible for me to read. It's just too many. Okay. The only way that I can get to see messages, if it's in capital letters, or if there's them super chat, of the donations, because it colors everything so I can see it. But there's just so many. I'm looking through them now. There's a lot of people in there. So people are coming. So we got Claire C today. Sainsbury's in Kent. Blinds pulled down over freezers. Oh, you had the same thing. Wow. Scott Towers says co-op. Wow. So who else? What have we got in here? Aldi. Yesterday, 3 or 4 freezers just switched off. Yeah, I don't believe it's the weather, because I think this sort of thing's been happening on and off for a while now. Let me see. Gary, RGJ Outdoors, good to see you, mate. Better late than never. And Chapel, all good. Gary, it's looking good for the prepper meet this year. Just quickly, I've got the raffle tickets. I've contacted the Gurkhas, and they're going to try and send a great big banner. So what I need to do is get as many big long tables as I can, and some of those gazebos or event shelters. So what I'm thinking of is get loads of tables, do it in a big U shape. Okay. Weapon corrector, Mike. Go on there, mate. Right. All good. So I get the tables in a big U shape, put as many coverings over it as possible, tents, gazebos, event shelters, wherever it is, because if it does spit with rain or start raining, all of them lovely prizes that everyone's kindly donated are going to get ruined. So we need that. So once that's all been put up, I'll be giving everyone a hand, setting all that up, and I'll get the banner put up there. We'll be doing the raffle, I'm suspecting around 3 p.m. on the Saturday. Usually I'll do the raffle at midday, but Lee from the Bug Out is returning from holiday on Friday. Then he's got to drive all the way from Mid Wales all the way over to north of London. First thing Saturday morning, so it's going to take him 4 hours maybe. So it's quite a drive, and he's got an awesome prize to come along. Oh my God, tactical! I've just seen that great big red thing. Oh man, brother, thank you so much indeed for that. That is just a beautiful thing. Oh wow, how cool is that? Do you know what? That's quite funny, because there's a good friend of mine on here, and he's on here right now, and I'm not going to mention his name in case he doesn't want to be mentioned, but he's actually going to be giving me there you go, a chainsaw. Okay, now looking at chainsaws, they're a lot of money, and you've really got to know what you're looking for. So this lovely friend on here is going to be giving me a Husqvarna 136, an old chainsaw, which is good because I like old stuff. Old stuff tends to last better. Now, when I looked at the carburetors to go on the chainsaw, they're like £11, £15, which is awesome. So the plan is the chainsaw will come. I believe my friend's going to be checking it all over, servicing it, make sure it's all clean and sweet. I will then get as many spare parts as I can, stick them in an airtight box, and go for it. Now, the idea is to stop me spending £220 every 3 weeks throughout the summer buying firewood. Okay, it's a hell of a lot of money, and we can barely afford it. So having a chainsaw where I can go out and do my own. I've been trained by Lee. He's been using a chainsaw for over 20 years. And trust me, don't worry, he's massive on safety like me. Okay, so don't worry, I will be wearing all this stuff. He's showed me how to hold it and all the rest of it. And I've been doing it, practicing. It's gradually getting easier. Okay, it's a bit of a hard work if you're not used to a chainsaw, especially if you're leaning over. I think it's the lower left side hip when I'm bending over, when I'm holding it with the chainsaw, cutting down low. It is quite of a pain. A bit of a pain up there in my arm as well when I'm holding it, because chainsaws are quite heavy after a while. So anyway, I don't want to waffle too much. So chainsaw's coming. To go over chainsaw is a trailer. Now, I had no idea, right? I've never bought or owned a trailer in my life. Two customers, I don't know if they're watching now, but they come into the shop yesterday, and one of the guys, the younger one, he said he's in the business of refurbing trailers. Well, oh, you're a nice person to know. Funny enough, I'm after one myself. Now, I didn't believe, I had no idea how expensive trailers are. And I just give him an example. Said I wanted one roughly, I don't know, 8-10 foot long by about 3 or 4 foot wide, just a bog standard trailer, nothing fancy. Doesn't even have to have electrics on there because I used to do electrician work, so I can wire all that and buy that myself. So I said, how much would one of those be in, like, okay condition, not rusting and dead? 800 quid. So I nearly fell over. I had no idea. Just a bog standard little trailer would be so expensive. Okay. And it's not even one of those i4 Williams. So tactical, trust me, when I see numbers like that come up, that really is going to go towards getting my first trailer. Okay. So when I've got all that money, especially thanks to you guys, I really do appreciate it. We're going to be taking one step out of, like I keep saying to you guys, relying on other people. Okay. At the moment, I've got no chainsaw, I've got no trailer, and I have to buy firewood. Okay, because we've got a log burner just over there, and it's a back boiler. It heats up all the radiators in the house. We get hot water from it. It heats the home. It's lovely, but you need to feed it with fuel. And if you can't get it yourself, you've got to buy it. £220 every 3 weeks. And guess what? That price will be going up this winter, guarantee it. Probably be around 250, maybe more. So that's a lot of money for 3 weeks worth of heating and hot water. So, like I said, all of those super chats really do come in handy because we want to try not to be reliant on anyone else. We want to do it ourselves, okay? And of course, what I learned from my experience in entering the chainsaw realm of getting my own firewood, I can share with you guys because there's a lot of people out there that have never used a chainsaw and is considering, transitioning to the life that I'm doing here, away from Urbanville, in the rural areas, trying to be self-sufficient. But if you haven't got that huge lump of money to get started, solar panels, generators, it's a lot of money, a hell of a lot of money. So we're trying to do it without. So Tactical, you're the dude. Seriously, mate, you've got no idea how much that helps. It really does. That's just a beautiful thing. So where was we? We got a little bit sidetracked and we was going to go through emails. Okay. If you look up through the chat, you can see the email address. In fact, I don't know if I can do a pinned comment on here. Let me see if I can. I don't think I can. And I don't know how to, but anyway, yeah, the email address, if you whiz up there, it's funkyintel@outlook.com. Okay, if you can type that in, you can email me anything you like. If you think it's going to help the community, I can go through it and select the juicy bits because there's a lot of emails come through. And we're going to start with this one. This one coming on Monday the 13th. It's from a guy called John. Okay, so John, if you're watching, he starts off with a long-term viewer, rare commenter. So yeah, a lot of people watch videos, but they don't always comment. I went for a stage in the old house before we moved. All of the YouTube stuff that we watched was actually on the telly, and we had no ways of leaving comments. But people still watch them, and John is one of them by the sound of it. He opens up with, nice to see a fellow dad doing whatever he needs to do in order to feed his family. Keep it up. Well, thanks, dude. Much appreciated by that. Yeah, I try my best because family first. Okay, let's have a look. South Korea. He says there's a shortage of microchips. I know this isn't the UK, but it could affect some of us if you listen to this bit, right? It's going to affect infrastructure. So you're looking at steel, coal, and cement factories. Okay, and hold on, I'll just come out of that. Simon Mills, thanks very much for your donation, sir. Make a trailer, buy a welder scrapyard, and have plenty of spares. I've lived in Wales and grew up everything. Blimey, do you know what I can't find in Wales, Simon? Is anything for free. No one seems to throw anything away in Wales. And I'll tell you what, you go down to South Central UK where I've moved from. There's skips everywhere. There's gardens full up with stuff, and everyone's welcome to help themselves for free. I come up here, no. There's no sheets of wood. There's no planks of wood. There's no corrugated roof sheets. There's no perspex. There's no metal bars or nothing like that. It's nothing. If you want anything in Wales, you're going to have to buy it. So what that tells me is the Welsh people are very clever, they're very sensible, and they don't waste anything. So that's pretty much my mindset. So I do feel at home here. But like I say, down south, honestly, I could just drive around for a day. Slave to no man. Thanks, brother. You're an absolute star. Like I said, that is all contributing to this. What tends to happen is, I think it's about the 26th of every month, I get the money from all of these sort of donations, which is beautifully received. Seriously, can't thank you guys enough. They take a big bloody cut out of it. So I'm left with some, and I'm trying to square that away into an account. And once I've got enough, I'm going to be getting a trailer, and I'm going to be doing my own firewood. And once I get some time, I'll be making some videos too. So there you go. Awesome. So let's go back to the emails. Right. He goes on to continue. Cement factories, coal and steel, like we just said, and the production of Kia and Hyundai cars. All right. So if anyone in the UK has a Kia or Kia and a Hyundai, if you have any one of those two vehicles, there's going to be big problems with the vehicles themselves and accessories and parts. Okay. So probably be a good idea to sell them cars and try to get something which isn't going to be affected. It'll give you more time, because the last thing you want is to take your Hyundai into a garage and they say, oh, we just can't get these parts. And then you're going to be spending hours or even the whole day on the phone, phoning around, trying to find someone somewhere with those parts for a Kia or a Hyundai car. And you might have to travel way out your way. And if your car's in big trouble, you've got to take that risk of driving 80 miles to get to that garage to get that car fixed up, okay? So, like I said, it's in Korea and it's going to affect us, okay? So we're trying to find out what's happening in the UK. Cost of living. Now, this is quite interesting. I didn't know this until I read this email on Monday. And it's good because he's supplied all of the links. That's important too. So if any of you guys are sending information of what you see or what you hear, okay, try and send a link if you can. If not, it's absolutely fine, but it does help for me to check it out, especially if I'm noting trends. So if I'm getting like 20 emails or so and 5 of them saying the same sort of thing, different parts of the country, that is definitely worth a mention, okay? So cost of living, Lloyds Bank trying to calm disgruntled, upset and struggling staff by giving an extra £1,000 in their August bank account. All right. So how cool is that? So if you work, blimey, if you work for Lloyds Bank, apparently everyone's going to be getting an extra £1,000 going to their wages at the end of the month. So they're doing that on purpose. Now, what you're saying is they're trying to retain some of the staff. All right. So lots of workers are trying to keep working remotely because of the price of fuel means they can't afford to go back to work for a 5-day commute. Okay, so yeah, a lot of people, I get it, you know, if you work in London, you can't afford to live there because it's stupid living in London. All right, it's just so expensive. A lot of people live on the outskirts, which means the further you live away, the longer you've got to travel, the more expensive it's going to be. Simon Mills, thank you very much for your donation, sir. Get a Land Rover Series 2, bulletproof, had one for years and easy to fix. Easy to fix. Old vehicles, yeah. My vehicle out there, I think she's 1990 something, so I don't want to go anything. The last thing I want to do is to open up my bonnet if there's a problem and see a big plastic box with a little D-type connector in there where you plug in a laptop. I ain't playing that silly game. I tell you, you play silly games, you win silly prizes. Go old school, get something that you can fix, all right? Don't go for that modern stuff. It will bite you on the bum. So that's happening with the cost of living with people who work at Lloyds Bank. Also, this is a local thing, and this is what I really like to receive on emails. Okay, this is what John's seeing here in semi-rural Cheshire. All right, lots of litter on the streets. Okay, semi-rural. Okay, so it's not in Urbanville, semi-rural. That is hard to get your head around. Okay, you don't usually see rubbish in villages and small towns. It's usually cities where you see all that sort of thing. So lots of litter on the streets, particularly around the lower income estates. People can't afford to dispose of their items, so they're fly tipping on their own doorstep. all of the Cheshire now have to pay an extra £40 a year for garden waste to be taken away. Now, it looks like a lot of people they just can't afford it because everything else is going up. So they're just trying to be creative and getting rid of it. All right. So garden waste is being put all over the place. Gets a bit windy, and you can imagine the mess it's going to make if lots of people are doing that. Okay. Seem to suddenly be lots of roaming cats around bins, etc. All right. Suggesting that they're not being looked after. People can't afford to keep their pets. So has anyone else got any more information about this sort of thing? Okay. Similar with potholes and no money being spent on the roads. Lots of cars are suffering with suspension issues, okay, with potholes. And it does say that it seems to be a slow decay of infrastructure. Now, when you can sort of step back and you can see pretty much what's going on anywhere, it does seem to be a very slow, I call it a slow burn. Okay, my own words. All of this, what we're seeing and what we're witnessing, is a slow burn. Okay, you can imagine if I started turning the screw, as it were, like big jumps in things, that's just going to cause outrage. John, what's that? Kurlev, thank you very much for your donation towards the trailer. Wow, this is looking like a trailer fund. This is absolutely fantastic. Man, you guys are seriously awesome. I can't thank you enough, okay? I just wish them trailers weren't so bloody expensive. Otherwise, I can just put some. It's just crazy. So yeah, apparently, this is what John's saying too. Diesel sitting around 190 and petrol around 180. So that was Monday. And let me tell you this: where I live, where Bilf Wales in London, it's gone up to 195 now. And the one on the other side of the road, because we've got two. They're down to, I think it is 192, so 191.1, so it is 192. I don't know why they do that 0.9, okay? It's to give you that false sense of security that it's a little bit cheaper. But if you see 191, 0.9, it's really 192, okay? Let's cut the horse shit here, all right? So it's already gone up. And I'll guarantee you what John's put on that email now, on Monday, when he said diesel was 190, I'll bet you any money you like, it's no longer 190. It's probably gone up to 193, 94, something like that. So that's crazy. And here he says, he's seen diesel as low as 185 and as high as 195. So yeah, from what I'm understanding, I don't know if it's still the same, but I've got a friend, she lives up in Glasgow, and I think she's saying like her petrol's like 170 a litre. I mean, is that really real? And I've got a friend, I'm not going to tell you what he does for a living, but yeah, isn't a quite crazy job. Now, he was in Chelsea recently in London, and he sent me a photograph of a petrol pump, and they are paying 249.9, so £2.50 for 1 litre of diesel. And that's the highest I've seen. And apparently, this guy is being jumped on for putting in prices up, okay? Yeah, £2.50 a litre of diesel. Yeah, I know it's Chelsea, blah, 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 but that is insane. In fact, when he said that, he said, guess where this is? And I said, it's either Chelsea, Mayfair, or one of the services on the M25. That was my guess. Guess what? It was Chelsea. So yeah, I guess right. You'll be crazy to live in Chelsea. I've heard of like a little tiny garage with a metal door on the front, for £1 million. I mean, why would you spend that? Bonkers. There's millions and millions and hundreds of millions of people starving around the planet, and people are spending £1 million on a little garage. Get your head looked at. So anyway, I digress. John continues, except for cooking oil, no noticeable shortages in the shops. Just a lack of offers on fruit and veg. Yeah, it's what we said earlier, fruit and vegetables. I've noticed myself, okay? It's really gone bonkers. So the email continues. Seems to be only a day or two left on the dates. There it is. That's what I was saying about the dates. I'm witnessing that too. Now, like I said earlier, if any of you noticed some of the dates on the fresh meat being really short. So you go on there on a Monday and you see, I don't know, a packet of chicken breast or something, and you look at the date and you think, that's just 3 days away and it's going to be going off. It's going to start stinking or whatever. That's if the dates on there are truthful too. Now, there was a lot of stuff going on a while back where I think it was Tesco, when the issue started, that they were falsifying the use by date. So people were buying them thinking they've got 4 or 5 days. you know, 3 days into it, they open it up and it's just gone off and they've had to throw it away. So there was a lot of that going on with Tesco. So I hope to God they don't get up to them same tricks again. So yeah, the dates exactly. Half the bananas are already on their way out on the shelves. Blimey, if you're like me, any bananas that have got black bits on there and that smell like car spray paint, I just can't stand them. Don't get me wrong, they're great if you're doing banana bread or banana cake. All right, that's really nice, but I wouldn't eat them like that. Personal opinion. But obviously, if you're starving, you'll eat anything. I don't care what anyone says. In local supermarkets, only 1 or 2 of the shelf service aisles, in brackets, 8 out of 10 in Morrison's, and out of about 20 in Asda, now take cash. Almost card exclusivity. Now, I actually witnessed this myself in Asda, down in near Portsmouth last year. Now, I think they had about 20 checkouts all the way along this huge supermarket, and only 4 of them were taking cash. 17 of them were card only. So if you can't see by now where this is going, start thinking, start looking, start acting, because one day you're going to go into a supermarket with your cash and they're going to say, sorry, we're cashless now. All of a sudden, those years and years and years of spending habits of going into the supermarket are gone. It's a big thing. Now, I've always said for a long time now that a key element to survival, and this is one of the things that I teach when I do the survival courses at the Bug Out. Now, the best way to describe survival is the faster that you can adapt to change, the better your chances are. Okay, so whatever changes, you have to adapt to it as soon as you can. Now, it's going to be harder for people in where we are now, in the first world, as they call it. So, you know, a lot of people, especially in the UK and indeed in the US, we're all used to having any food we want whenever we want it. Okay, we're used to having relatively low prices on things. We've got a lot of choice, so you can go really, really cheap in Lidl, and you can go really expensive in Marks and Spencers, and everything in between. So there is something for everyone. Okay, we've been used to that for such a long time. You know, we walk out in the streets at night time and we've got lighting. You know, you go inside home and it's cold outside, and you click a button and your house heats up with central heating. Trust me, we are seriously lucky and privileged to be in that situation. But the longer that you're in that situation, as soon as anything changes, you're going to find it very hard to adjust. Now, obviously, if you don't know by now, that the whole world is going to pot, right? And the people who are going to weather the storm a lot better, believe it or not, Steve Wales, how you doing, buddy? I've just seen you pop up there. People who are going to weather this storm better is people who have been in destitute for a long time. So you're looking at the starving and the poor people in India, Hungary, Africa. Right, okay. So those people who have been used to extreme poverty for a long period of time, they're not really going to notice that many differences, I wouldn't have thought, in the grand scheme of things. But when you start seeing lifestyles which have been lived for a long period of time in these poor countries just drift over to the West where we are, if you're not used to living in poverty, and all of a sudden it's practically going to be over a week or two, not from now, but it's usually going to take about a week from normality to things have got bad, and then it's not going to go back. Okay, the faster that you adjust to changes, the better your chances are. The more that you're going to struggle, you're going to moan, you're going to get depressed, you know, you're not going to actively do anything to improve your situation, the harder it's going to be, and your chances of survival goes like this. Okay, it seriously does. So we're going through this email even more. Let me see. We keep horses on a local mixed arable pastoral farm. The beef herd is doing well, but the yield for the hay and feed has been poor. Yeah, we've got a lot of farmers in this community up where I live because we're right out in the mountains. Okay, now the prices that they're paying for fertilizer, like I said, it's £300. It's gone up to £1,000. So I also saw a tractor put in a great big huge trailer the other day. It had 5 1-ton bags of lime on the back. So I shudder to think how much that guy paid for that, because the prices of managing food are skyrocketing. The weather across the globe pretty much is changing. Not very good for growing crops. The best way to grow crops is if you've got like a constant where you can adapt and you can produce to that climate at that time. So all of a sudden, if you're in like a tropical sort of environment and you've got a stable climate, all of a sudden, if it goes dry and goes really hot for like a couple of weeks, there's a high chance that you could lose a lot of your yield from your crops. Okay. And we're seeing that, unfortunately, in America. And I do believe America is being purposely attacked. All right. So if anyone believes that there's no technology to modify weather, you seriously need to wake up soon, because you can literally modify the weather anywhere around the world at any time. Okay. And if you look at the crazy weather that's gone on in America now, you've got to be mad to sort of think, oh, that's just climate change. That's because we're running petrol engines all the time. Don't fall for that stuff. Please don't. So yeah, that's crazy. Wow. The feed has been poor last year and looking worse for next year. Okay. Some of the poorest quality hay bales for horses that is personally seen in 10 years. Absolutely crazy. And also he goes on about the NHS, since the issue, of course, lots of us have probably witnessed firsthand. If any of you guys have had any problems since the issue, so we're talking two years and a few months, okay, if anyone's had personal experiences of issues with dental appointments, doctor's appointments, and hospital appointments, delays, referrals, cancellations, if anyone has witnessed anything like that, can you please put it in the comments? Because like I encourage all of you guys who are watching this on a replay, I advise you to go through the chat, because the guys here on the chat are excellent. Okay, they really are contributing to sharing all this information. And well done, we got 258 people in the chat. And if you can hit the thumbs up, that would be seriously cool, because that means more people get to see your comments in the replay. So if you want people to watch the video and to see what you've written down there, absolutely go for it. Just hit the thumbs up. You've only got to do it once and come back to the chat, and all's good in the hood. So thanks very much. Let me see, what else has he got about the NHS struggling? Yeah, his dad has been waiting over 3 years for a replacement knee. Oh my God, you poor sod. And is now, oh no, it's now essentially crippled because he had to wait so long, making him do multiple 60-mile round trips for what used to be done at their local surgery. Now, this is another thing as well. Over here in the UK, if you don't already know, we've got no choice. We've got a tax, and it is a tax. They call it a national insurance contribution. A percentage of what you earn in your wages gets automatically taken out, and it's said to go towards healthcare. Okay, so you break your leg, you go to hospital, they fix it up, and you get like a physio recovery program because you've been contributing that payment. I think from, is it 16 years old or 18 years old? Something like that. So yeah, so a lot of money is being paid into that to make sure that that's there. Now there's lots of people influxing immigration and migration and stuff into the UK, and you know, the more people that come over here, the more people that work, the more people contribute, the bigger that pot is. So in theory, the NHS privatized, I believe it has been privatized now. You've only got to look at the food outlets within hospitals to see Costa and all this stuff. You know, you've got to ask yourself, you know, hospitals should be a place to get better, to recover. So they're selling junk food, no fresh food and stuff, or very little. And they're getting all of this, you know, corporate coffee places in hospitals. So I believe it's been privatized, and I believe it doesn't matter what you pay. The services that you get back for all that money that you've paid and contributed is rubbish. I mean, look at this email. That is just shocking. He's waited 3 years for a replacement knee, and he's now got to make 60-mile, so it's 30 miles there, 30 miles back, round trip, just to get seen and to get, you know, oh, referred again. Sorry, we can't do it. Come back next week. You know, that's just horrendous. Sickening. I mean, we really need to like look after the elderly, you know. Respect your elders. That's how I was brought up, and That's how I'm bringing my son up, okay? You always respect your elders. Doesn't matter what they say, you have to respect them because they've gone through more stuff than you can possibly imagine, all right? So that is pretty much it from that email. So that was from John. Let me see, what's this? Now this is from, let me just double click this. This is from Joshua. I'm not going to say his full name, but Joshua will do. He's from the Northeast. Apparently poaching is on the rise. Now, if my friend is on here, all I'm going to say, that his name is Ronnie and he's in Germany. I'm not going to say anything more, but he does know, shall we dare say, a little bit about what we're talking about here. And it'd be good if he's on here. Poaching is on the rise. Also, people stealing wood with chainsaws. Oh my! So I'm trying to save up and afford a trailer, and now this drops. But luckily, where we are, we know all the landowners and stuff, and I've already asked for permission, and it's absolutely fine. Okay. So we're talking about people stealing wood. So they're gaining permission. They're not gaining permission. Sorry, they're getting into land and they're taking wood with chainsaws in the daytime from local woods. Sustainable raw dog food price increases, like we touched on earlier. Okay, now we spoke to our friend Steve, and he confirmed that 10 to 20% rise in raw dog food. Okay, so if you're one of them guys who love your dogs to bits and you want them to have the best, from what I researched into, they need to be eating raw meat, nothing processed. So nothing out of a tin, nothing out of a packet. You give them raw meat, bones, gristle, fat, meat, the lot. Okay, it will do them a good, because if you look at the teeth on a dog, and it's designed for tearing flesh. Now, if you just spoon out a tin of chappy like I used to, I didn't know, years ago, them teeth are getting wasted by chewing up that mushed up mess, and God knows what else they put in it. So yeah, raw dog food is absolutely awesome for dogs. Okay, probably cats as well, because they got pointed teeth. So noticed a few vehicles parked on the path for sale. Now this is interesting because I recently had a Skoda, okay, a very economical petrol Skoda, which I've just sold. And I took it to a company called WeBuyAnyCar.com because I could not sell it for love or money. I put it on eBay. I think I listed it 5 times at £15 a time. So it's cost me a lot of money and it never sold. Okay. Maybe because of the area I live in, there's not many people that can come out here, etc. But anyway, I took it to WeBuyAnyCar.com and I spoke to the guy there who was dealing with me getting the car processed, which is quite a straightforward, easy transaction. If any of you want to get rid of your car and you haven't got the hassle, go to WeBuyAnyCar, and trust me, if you turn out with a nice, decent car, it's pretty good. And he told me that in 1 week, there was me and 3 others out of 80 cars, right? 80 cars. So that's 77 people. He took cars there. All of them still had finance on them. Me and a few others, we paid for our cars. We owned them. And that's how I roll, okay? If I want something, I'll save up for it and I'll buy it. I'll never do that finance stuff. It's a con. It's a scam. You're going to lose lots of money. Don't do it. And of course, when things get bad and prices go up, you won't be able to afford it. And guess what? You got no vehicle. If you would have saved up and bought it, at least you still got a vehicle. So that tells me a lot. There's a lot of people struggling. A lot of people living beyond their means, and they're pretty much forced to sell their car with finance still on there, hoping to recoup some of that money that they've put into it to put towards another car. And they're probably not going to be in a situation where they can afford to buy a car outright, so they're going to join the treadmill of owning money again. Okay, so it's a vicious circle. If you can't afford it, don't get it. Don't get it on tick. All right. Adjust your spending habits. All right. Do you really have to spend money going to the pub? Do you really have to spend it on cigarettes, alcohol, tattoos? Do you really have to get flash clothes? Do you really need to go to football matches? Do you really need to subscribe to Sky Sports, Netflix? You stop all that. Do you realise how much money you're going to have left over? You save up and you buy your own affordable car. All right. Don't be doing all of that and moaning you've got no money and you can't afford a car because you're spunking, 1/3 of all your money on stuff you don't really need. Okay. This is how this world is evolving now. People are very slowly, and I mean slowly, starting to wake up to what's important. Okay, you open up your wardrobe and it's full up with Ben Sherman and Lacoste t-shirts. Really, mate? Stick it all on eBay, sell it, get some money, and just buy bloody t-shirts and clothes. Okay, you'll save yourself a fortune. Put the money that you save towards food, buying a car that you actually own. Anyway, I'm ranting. Someone said I should be Prime Minister. Man, don't get me started on that. Right, let me see. So here we go. Local family fish and chip shop had to put their prices right up to £3.50 in the last 2 months. And they said the higher prices are coming soon. Many people are, here we go, like I said, handing finance vehicles back at the halfway point of contract. Wow. Lots of local pubs have closed. This is up the northeast. Local markets have been hit very hard. There will be no traders in the next 2 years, what he's predicting. So that's Joshua. Wow. Local farmers have cut back on numbers of livestock and crop planting and branching into other ways of making money. So they're diversifying. We're hearing that a lot lately, okay? So they're going into opening a calf, glamping, stuff like that, just to get some extra income. Now, there was lots of things with, I think, dairy farms cottoned onto this, where there was mainly outsourcing just milk. Okay, they were producing milk from their cows, and that's what they've done. Now, you're looking in, they're going into yogurts, they're going into cheese as well. Okay, trying to sort of spread that big net to try and get what they can. Now, it's like I've been saying to you guys for years, you know, whatever you prep for, try and spread it. Okay, so very basically, then. Fuel, off-grid fuel. Okay, don't just get one type of fuel. For me, I've got wood, I've got gas, I've got paraffin. Okay, more than one. All right. The same sort of thing with the food. Don't just get one type of food. Get lots of different foods, which will store in different ways. It will last for different amounts of time, and you can mix and match lots of different things to make lots of different varied meals. So you're not just getting bored with eating just rice and beans. Okay. So try and spread it. That's what I'm saying about the farmers there. They're diversifying rather than just milk. They're going into cheese, they're going into butter, they're going into yogurts, that sort of thing. Trying to earn as much money as they can just to keep their heads afloat. Now, I reckon, I don't like making predictions, but from what I've been hearing, especially locally with the farming community here, I see, especially livestock, a huge downturn in the next, I would say, 24 months. Okay, so in 24 months' time, I would shudder to think how much meat will be available from the farms that produce stuff here in the UK. Okay, and that is conservative 2 years. It'd probably be a lot quicker than that if truth be known. Here we go. A local military surplus shop owner has noticed a substantial rise in people prepping and generally stocking up. Oh, excuse me. Been talking constantly for an hour. I need some aqua. Ah, dearie me. So yeah, in actual fact, I can back this statement up, which Joshua said. Dave, peeing on, good to see you, buddy. All good in the hood. Hope you're well, mate. But yeah, what Joshua was just saying on the email that I received from him earlier. I'm noticing it firsthand. As some of you know or don't know, I work now in a prepper and a survival shop, supplying lots of prepper and survival supplies. I also teach survival skills and prepper skills here in Mid Wales. And we have a physical shop where people come in, walk around, they try stuff, they feel stuff. You know, it's a lot better than just looking at a photograph on a website. Okay, you can come in, you can try boots on. You can try crossbows on our range before you decide which ones you want to buy. There's lots of that goes on in this shop. Now, I'm noticing a lot of people, new people. We've got our regulars that come in every week usually. Lots of different new faces coming in over the last 2 weeks now. Yeah, they're really interested in food. Okay, so we got a lot of freeze-dried food. Oops, excuse me. Lots of that sort of stuff. Some of the alternative cooking things like little gas burners and like little wood burners and things like that. They've been very popular lately. And indeed the crossbows. Now the crossbows on the website, oh my days, they're flying. It's insane. The amount of new people coming into the shop buying those sort of items. And like, you know, this guy's saying as well, he's noticed it in his local surplus place. So yeah, that was Joshua. Now this one, right, I've saved the best one to last. Okay. Now I'm not going to name this person, but the person may or may not be on the chat right now. And all I can say is this is from a current serving UK police officer. All right. Now, you may hear it first here. I'm not sure if it's gone public yet. All right. When I first read this, there's one person I immediately thought of, and he was a guest staying with us recently, and is a van lifer, and he's decided to jack everything in, kit out a van on a budget, traveling all around the UK, and he basically works on his laptop doing lots of IT stuff. Okay. Now, when I touched base with him recently, he said the prices of fuel is absolutely killing him at the moment. As you can imagine, with a big, heavy van full of diesel, you can imagine how much that cost. I mean, Steve, the security guy, said it's £170 to fill a tank up. Wow. That's insane. So this email made me think about this guy. Now, I've been told by this current serving police officer that it's okay to share this information. All right. Now there's a lot. So I'm going to try and break it down. All right. So it's not too over the top. Now, I learned a bit of this when I was in the security industry, right? Is anyone of you out there familiar with the law of trespass? Now, from what I remember when we was doing training and stuff, and when I was in the security industry, trespass is a civil offence until a point of altercation changes or escalates. When that changes, it then becomes a criminal offence, and you are breaking the law. Okay, so if you're asked to leave and you don't, and it starts to be pushing around and stuff like that, that civil offence turns into a criminal offence. Okay, but guess what? Now, are you guys ready for this? All right. I feel a bit weird saying this because this isn't public yet, and this is from a current serving police officer, but he's told me it's okay to share. Right. Okay. Are you ready for this? All right then. Operational advice: trespassing on land without consent, unauthorized, encampments, Police, Crime, Sentencing and Courts Act 2022. Changes to legislation. The following will be coming into force on the 28th of June 2022. 17, 18, that's 11 days. 11 days. Okay. So the most significant legislative change in the Act is the introduction of a new summary criminal offence of residing on land without consent in or with a vehicle. Okay. The Act also amends existing powers previously available under the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act 1994. Okay. The primary conditions of this new criminal offence are contained in Section 160C1 of Criminal Justice of Public Order Act 1994, as amended by the PSSC Act 2022. Right. Are you ready for this then? This is the meat on the bones, okay? The offence applies where a person is aged 18 years and over, a person is residing or intending to reside on land without the consent of the occupier of the land. Let that sink in. A person has or intends to have at least one vehicle with them on the land. One or more conditions in subsection 60C4 of the CJPOA are met. See below. E. The person is requested to leave and or remove their property by the landowner, a representative of the landowner, or police. Okay. Now, it just gets bonkers. And this is coming in 11 days. So not much notice, not much time to prepare. Okay. Bloody hell. A person fails to comply with the request to leave as soon as reasonably practical, or a person re-enters or enters the land with an intention of residing there without consent and has or intends to have a vehicle with them within 12 months of the request being made. Wow. Within 12 months. Whoa! How crazy is that? Specific conditions related to harm. This is where it goes to criminal from civil, in my opinion. Here we go. The conditions are, in a case where a person is residing on the land, significant damage or significant disruption has been caused or likely to be caused as a result of their residence. My God, they're tangling you up in knots here for sure. In a case where a person is not yet residing on the land, it is likely that significant damage or significant disruption would be caused as a result of their residence if they were to reside on the land. That significant damage or significant disruption has been caused or likely to be caused as a result of conduct carried on or likely to be carried on by that person whilst on the land at that time. Oh, wow. That significant distress has been caused or likely to be caused as a result of offensive conduct carried on or likely to be carried on. See that? Likely to be carried on. Wow. Likely. Okay. That's very definitive, in my opinion, by that person whilst on the land. In a case where a person is residing on the land, significant damage or significant disruption has been caused or likely to be caused as a result of their residence. Bloody hell. Like I say, this just goes on and on and on. In a case where a person is not yet residing on a land, it is likely that significant damage or significant disruption would be caused as a result of their residence if they were to reside on the land. Blimey. That significant damage or significant disruption has been caused or is likely to be caused as a result of conduct carried on or likely to be carried on. There's a lot of that likely, isn't there? If they reside on the land. By that person whilst on the land, sorry, that last bit. H, so this continues. That significant distress has been caused or likely to be caused as a result of offensive conduct carried on or likely to be carried on by that person whilst on the land. Thus, people aged 18 and over would commit the proposed offence if they reside or they intend to reside on land without consent. So they're committing an offence, okay? Up until this moment, when this changes, I believe if that was to happen, that would be a civil offence until there's a confrontation which escalates and it changes into a criminal offence. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand from the law. They have or intend to have at least one vehicle with them. All right. Wow. They cause or are likely to cause significant damage, disruption, or distress as a result of either residing, intending to reside on the land, or their conduct / potential conduct whilst on the land. They fail as soon as reasonably practicable to leave when directed by the owner, someone representing them, or the police, or return within the prohibited period of 12 months. So if something happens, you're asked to leave, you get kicked off, you're not allowed back there within a year. Okay. Wow. There's a few key consideration points too. It's just definitions and the word significant used on there. Let me see if I could find maybe some sort of link or where to read up on this in its entirety, because there's a lot and I don't want to be talking for half an hour just talking about this. Reasonable excuse. This looks interesting. A person can show that they have reasonable excuse for failing to leave the land as soon as reasonably practicable, or for entering again within the prohibited period, which is 12 months. Okay. Police will be expected to consider what constitutes a reasonable excuse depending on the factual circumstances on each case or individual cases. Blimey. The following examples may be unlikely, okay, to be considered reasonable excuses. Okay, here we go. A. The vehicle was broken down. The legislation states a vehicle is any vehicle, whether or not it is in a fit state for use on the roads, includes any chassis or body without wheels. Oh, man, they're making it difficult, aren't they? B. The attendance of events. That's worth bearing in mind. Right. C. The attendance of an appointment unless for medical reasons to which the police and courts deem a reasonable excuse for residing on the land without permission applies. Okay. So yeah, that's going to be a tough one to prove in a court of law. You're going to need some serious health issue why you had to go and park in the middle of the woods on someone else's land. Wow. It remains the case. That's crazy. It remains the case that the response to unauthorized encampments and to individuals who do not leave land, I would say the land, when asked to do so, causing harm in the conditions set out requires a locally driven multi-agency response. Oh my God. Led by local authorities and supported by the police. A joint decision should be ideally be reached between the local authority, landowner, and the police. Can you imagine getting all them together at the same time with lots of other stuff going on? Regarding the most appropriate course of action, taking into account the impact on the landowner and wider community. You see how they're trying to really cover themselves there by adding wider community onto this person's land. Local authorities should be the lead agency, in the initial stages of assessing the welfare of trespassers. If forces are made aware of issues relating to trespassing without consent, they will be expected to respond to each case on its own merits and determine, through gathering evidence, what the appropriate action should be. The decision on which police powers are used remains at the discretion of the police officer. So it's a lot of weight on the poor police officer attending a particular incident who must, when exercising that discretion, have regard to this guidance. So there's a lot of stuff that the police need to catch up on this quickly. Okay, there's going to be a time issue period, I would have thought, like a grace or lenience time window when this law goes live, that they're going to be lenient maybe, but over some sort of time period that this is going to be concrete and it's going to be no movability within that. Wow. Yeah, I'm not going to read the last bit because it's a confidential piece. So, you know, this information, according to my friend who's currently serving in the British police force, this information will be freely available soon. So it's possible that you could have heard it here first. So if anyone goes back in time from where I started reading this email, timestamp it in the comments and I'll try and pin that if I can once this has been uploaded. So if anyone wants to just listen to that section that I read out on the changes of law coming up very soon, it would be good for someone to sort of dig into the meats and bones on that one and try and rationalize it in a weird sense. Right, let me see. Oh, that's a weird email. It just says nothing. Okay. Let me see. Good morning, hope you're well. Oh, this is from someone in America. It's only a little one, so I'll read it. I'm trying to get what's going on in the UK. Let me see. If I just double click on that, I'll get the whole screen then. Right. First last, good morning. Hoping your family are well. Just a thought about things to mention on your live stream. I watch a lot across the pond, and in my opinion, we mirror them to a point. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, I think, but I think America is a lot more severe than what the UK is experiencing, in my opinion. From what I've witnessed so far, with my own opinions, obviously, um, they are experiencing a shortage of famine, bits and bobs. I know you are probably well aware of this, as you are clued up. So, what thinking others may not watch in the USA may be going to be a problem getting all cotton-based as imports, etc. Still able to get them here at the moment. Here you go, dog food again. Dog food, biscuits, mixer, over 5-week delay to local farm shop. I'm in Devon. Wishing you all your family well, Jane. Thanks, Jane. Nice to hear. So let me see. There's more emails. Oh my God. See what I'm saying? I wanted to do a live stream and the emails go on a separate video. But what I think I might do is, I'll get time over the weekend. I'm really busy getting ready for the prep meet for the following weekend. But I might try and upload a short video mentioning the idea. I'm going to call it something like Funky's Intel report, and I'm going to try and do one a week before the live stream of all of the emails that you guys are sending to me, so I can get a grip and share what is going on in the United Kingdom. Okay, like a lot of us are probably aware, lots of people know what's going on in America, all right, but we really need to know what's going on in our own country. And when I do try to find information, I just met with a lot of mainstream nonsense. Okay, seriously. So here we go. Just people saying hi. Cool. Test. Yeah, no problem. Right, so that's it for the emails. I'm going to go back to the live stream now, and just going to scroll up. Wow, what have we got in here? We got 250 people in chat. That's awesome. I think we nearly peaked 300 earlier, which was amazing, really. Oh, I can't really go up any further. Blimey, I'm pretty sure someone left me a super chat there, but I've missed it. It's gone too far. I'm really sorry. No, I missed that. It's not letting me scroll up. The furthest I can scroll up is Run to the Woods, where he said, need a ban, Danique, whatever Danique is. Right. So I've got no idea what it is. Oh, it sounds like someone's being naughty in the chat. Okay. So yeah. Mods, if there's any inclination of any arguments being stemmed from, zero tolerance, just get rid of them, okay? So there we go. Bloody hell, I am bloody thirsty tonight. Wow, hour and 17 minutes. So that is it for the emails. I'm just going to try and catch up with the chat here. So if any of you guys have got any questions, put them in full capital letters. Try and keep it short, and I'll find it, because there's a hell of a lot of messages on this live stream, okay? And I'll do my best to answer. Let me see. I can't see nothing in capital letters anywhere. No questions. Well, you guys are having a good laugh in the chat. That's awesome to see. Look at this. 4x4 fella. Hi, mate. Good to see you again. Kenneth Mackey, Gary Stewart, Marie Robson, Lee McCorsterson. Yeah, do you know what, Dave? Very good point. In fact, someone else said this when we was on I was doing a survival course about 3 weeks ago now. And one of the guys actually does this, Dave. Nicely put out. He says, put a high vis vest in the cab of your stealth camper, and they'll think you're a work van. It's a good trick. And I remember doing a video back in the bunker where I used to live. What I used to do was to encourage people, if you're being grey man, one of the things that come up was made apparent was, if you just go anywhere wearing a high vis vest, it's like an invisibility cloak, right? And I'll tell you a true story. A friend of mine used to work in the cinema a long time ago, and he said one day, I think it was around 5 o'clock, before the evening on a Saturday was getting really busy in a big cinema. Okay, one of those big like multiplexes, UCI, whatever they are. And this guy, he had a lightweight aluminium stepladder under his arm, with a vis vest on, and a white hard hat. And he just walked straight through. He went round to the toilet. He put his stuff in there, and then people were coming into the toilet, and he was washing his hands for a while, and he just followed people out there and went straight in, sat down, and watched the film. All because he appeared invisible, hidden in plain sight, high-vis jackets. So what Dave was saying makes a lot of sense. If you've got a high-vis jacket, stick it on the dashboard, maybe get a couple of work-related things which aren't valuable, put them up there, and someone will walk past at a glance, they'll just say, someone working there, and think nothing more about it, okay? You can make it more conspicuous. There you go, clipboard. Yeah, brilliant, excellent idea. That's what I was trying to get at, little things on the dashboard. Nice one, buddy. So yeah, it absolutely works, but what you don't want to be doing is having a great big chimney sticking out of your van, because that turns the work van into a camper van, okay? So try and go grey if you can, and I appreciate, it's not easy. In fact, my mate who was staying with us in his van, he was up here for about a month on our land. Not a problem at all. I gave him permission, no problem. He had a diesel heater, okay, so he just looked like a normal white van. It's brilliant. It's amazing. He could just park in the street and it's just like a works van, So the more that you can disguise your vehicle to do that, the better. So let me see, going back here through, there's loads of, I'm going way back, there's loads of comments in there. What do you advise of alternative fuels to use in your home when the energy prices go up later in the year? Yeah, nice one. Oh Christ, I scrolled down. Mike, someone. Basically, the energy prices hiked up in April Fool's Day. Now, it used to be they done an upgrade in fuel prices every 12 months. Now, them nasty, horrible people are doing it twice a year. Okay, so April, 6 months. What have you got? October. Now, like I said in the previous live stream, in my opinion, based on all of the information I'm getting from lots of people, right, there's going to be big problems here in the UK in October and onwards going into next year. Okay, I believe, it's just my opinion. Okay, you don't have to believe it. I'm not telling it to you. I'm just telling you what my opinion is based on all of the people that I know looking into this stuff, and there's a lot. Right, so we've got energy prices, all of them, everywhere, all over the UK, will probably have a 30 to 50% increase in their energy prices. Now that's going to cripple a lot of people, just that. Okay, now there's big problems with fertilizer, growing food. The weather's doing all sorts. Okay, the price of diesel, and indeed red diesel, believe it or not, for farm vehicles, etc. A shortage of parts to maintain these farm vehicles and machines. So the long and the short, with the added supply problems of everyday stuff, you add all of that together, all right, and what have you got? Big problem, all at the same time. So this end, food shortages are going to stem from all of the issues that they're having out in the farms, etc. So going back to what I think it was Steve was saying earlier, I said, what fuels do you recommend that you use in your home? Okay, so most people, and I was included on there, okay, we had gas central heating and we had electricity from mains grid. Okay, so if you're relying on just those two to heat and eat, as they're lovingly referring it to on the media now, if you've only got those two ways of heating and eating, do what you can to get some money from somewhere to put it towards alternative fuels. Now, like the guy was asking earlier, which I'm applying to now, what do you advise we do that's off grid? Now, I can only say from my experience, now, as I say, we've got a wood burner down there. Okay, so I need to get logs. At the moment, we're paying for it. It's ridiculous. I've got paraffin. Now, you can buy, I recommend that you buy paraffin in 20-litre drums. Now, I remember saying, it might even be on, no, I think I've torn it off. It's on another sheet. But the price of paraffin, I think it's gone up from, I think it's at 38 or 40. I think it's gone up about £7, something like that, or £5 in the last few months. Okay, so paraffin is an excellent source of, you can actually cook with it as well. Okay, a lot of heat comes out of the heaters. You can cook on it, you can boil water, etc. You can do a fry up on there in a frying pan. All right, so paraffin's good, wood's good, obviously. Now gas. Now personally, I get the 15 kilo Calagas bottles. Now I have got one eye on what's coming on. If any of you guys are aware of the grand solar minimum, now looking through cycles of what's predicted, what they're saying over the next 7 to 8 years, so the climate's going to get a lot colder. Okay, so if you're using gas and the climate and the weather's getting colder year after year, the winters are getting more and more colder, good time to switch from gas to propane. The propane operates a lot better in colder conditions. So I am on that cusp of considering if I can do a like for like swap. I'm not sure of the price of propane compared to gas in the UK, but if I can get a like to like 15 kilo swap, propane would be the better option, okay? Because in colder weather, they work better, okay? You're not going to get any issues if you use gas. So they're my three go-tos of off-grid ways that you can cook and heat. Lighting as well is another thing if you want to go down that road. Lighting, solar, obviously, but it's very expensive. Power banks. Now, if you can get what you can afford, okay, power bank batteries, keep them charged up every 2 or 3 months. Just make sure you top them up and keep them up so they're ready at all times. Okay, get as many of those power banks as you can, as many means as you can store power. Okay, because like I say, it's all well and good having like gas, wood, and paraffin, but if you're relying on your phone and you've got no electricity, you haven't been fortunate enough to spend £10,000 on a solar setup, you've got these power banks, right? You can charge your phone up. Okay, that will get you through to maybe when you go to work, and you can charge that power bank up during work time. You can bring that home and you're good to go for the evening should you need more power for the laptop or your phone or your tablet. Okay, they're good tips. But going back to what Steve was saying, the alternative ways to heat your home, in my opinion, is gas, paraffin, and wood. Now, like I said, at the moment, I'm reliant on buying logs. Okay, very expensive. Now, I'm very fortunate enough to have a good friend who's given me a chainsaw at some point. An actual fact, I've just remembered, if anyone can get near him to pick it up and take it to the prepper meet, or if anyone's going from where he lives, from there, going up to where we are in Wales, that's cool. If not, bro, I've got no problems covering the courier, or just find a big box from somewhere, box it up, and I'll cover all of the shipping, okay? So if it is going to be a problem trying to get someone to go to your house at a certain time to pick it up, then they've got to take it to the prepper meet with all their other stuff. It might be an issue. So trust me, dude, I've got no problems, paying for the shipping because the donations are so nice. I can afford to do that sort of thing. So, once I've got the chainsaw, then the idea I'm hoping to get is a trailer. So I can literally just drive out this big expanse of land around there. We're starting to know and get a good relationship and a good bond with the farmers and the landowners. 2 of them out of about 6 so far have given us permission to take wood from their forests, especially after storms. There's wood everywhere and it just sits there rotting away. So, it's fine. Get the chainsaw, chop it down, put it in the trailer. My hope is I can take it to Lee. He's got a big log splitter there. Now, I'll probably pay him to use it, just to hire it for a couple of hours. One Saturday afternoon, I can split all them logs. I can take them home. I can stack them, dry them. Over time, I can actually use them. I'll be saving so much money for the family by doing that rather than buying the logs because they're expensive. But like I say, once we finally get a trailer, as soon as possible, we can get that done. That'd be absolutely awesome. Here we go. We got a comment from Richard Chapman. Put some dispatch signs on your vans with some parcels in the cabin. Good tip. Yeah, do you know what? You could do that, couldn't you? You could probably get very, very thin magnetic like decals, like DPD or something like that, and you can keep them in your van. You're driving along, something like that. You found somewhere you're going to park up or something like that for the evening. You go somewhere quiet, you put the signs up, you put a few parcels on the thing, and they're going to think, oh, this guy's on shift or whatever. It's absolutely fine. Or maybe, if you're thinking, what sort of van or what sort of company would be working of a night time? Maybe something like emergency electricity repair company or something. So that would be valid, wouldn't it? They're going to fix someone whose power's gone out. You've got some company logo on the side of your van. Someone's going to drive past or walk past and think, oh, they're just electricity repairs, and don't think nothing of it. So yeah, it's a grey man. It's getting people's attention away from what it actually is, which is a van where some poor bug is living on it because they've had to leave their home because they can't afford the repayments. Now, we saw the interest rate very briefly going up in the US. Now, at some point, it's going to be trickling down to the UK. There's a few analysts out there who I've been following, and from what I'm hearing, the word around the campfire is we have been in recession unofficially from January this year. Okay, so they're slowly starting to push from now all the way up to everything's telling me October, November. Everything is going towards that time frame. Okay, there's going to be a lot changing around that time. Speaking of time, it looks like we've just run out of it. It's past. My partner's just pulled up and my battered up, knackered old 4x4, and it's time to close. So I would like to say thank you ever so much for everyone who's come onto the chat. Now, once this is uploaded, it takes a while for it to be updated, but I'm going to try and find time to go through the chat and read of what you guys are saying. And I will try my best to make that short video telling people about the email address where they can contact me. And we should have enough information which I can do, I don't know, a 5 or 10 minute video once a week before I do a live stream on a Thursday or a Friday, giving people what I'm hearing from around the UK. So without further ado, thanks ever so much for everyone who's come into the chat and commented, and in my opinion made this community a slightly better place, because we're all learning what's going on around the UK. There is a lot going on and it's not normal. We feel that, we know that. Okay, don't let anyone tell you that don't worry, everything will be back to normal. Them guys are deluded and they are going to suffer. Thanks ever so much for, oh my god, thanks for your donations as well. That is seriously appreciated, like you couldn't believe. Okay, you guys who, even if it's just £1, it all adds up. Okay, and like I'm saying, we are living in crazy times. Okay, and lots of us are struggling to keep our heads above the water, so every penny seriously helps, and I can't thank you guys enough. All right, it really does make a difference, and I'm not just saying it, I truly mean it. All right, so everyone who's put their hand in their pocket, wanted to support me and my family and what we're trying to do here, helping the community, a bit of payback, it is seriously appreciated and thanks. And last but not least, the moderators. Now, the moderators, literally, they're the glue that holds this big project together. Without the moderators, all of this just falls apart. Okay, because what happens, there's a lot of trolls out there, there's a lot of idiots out there, there's a lot of people who can't handle their emotions, and they just become keyboard warriors, and they just ruin it for a lot of people, which distracts you guys in the chat from, you know, creating this beautiful community. Okay, we don't want division, we don't want idiots. So the moderators are absolute legends, and I'll tell you, if I could find a way of repaying them all one day, I seriously will, because they have been godsend. So all of you moderators, the Blue Spanner guys and girls, absolutely beautiful people, all of you, thanks so much for helping. And I believe that is it for the end of the chat. So thanks ever so much for watching. Oh, before I go, I'm going to be heading over to my friend Mike. His name's Weapon Collector. I'll be going there on the chat straight after that. So if you go into YouTube, type in Weapon Collector, and there'll be a live stream very, very shortly. I like to kick back, maybe have a beer for about an hour or so, because it's been a hell of a week and it's been damn hot. So if anyone wants to carry on chatting, etc., prepping related, weapons, shooting, that sort of stuff, crossbows, all that sort of stuff, talk about anything on Mike's channel. Like he said in his channel, on his live stream, this is serious, this is more fun. So if you want a bit of fun, head on over to the Weapon Collector, tell him I sent you, and I'll see you over there very soon. So once again, thanks guys, thanks for watching, God bless, and stay funky.